15. I think we'll get there with ease with the southwest breeze developing and temperatures going up to 56. Shower chances not zero, but they're not very high. The best chance would be this afternoon and evening to the north and west of the city. Behind the system, it becomes partly cloudy later tonight. Will only drop to 41. Another balmy day tomorrow with more sunshine, much like yesterday, only warmer than yesterday with a high of 54. Thursday will be cloudy, breezy, mild, a couple of showers around, the high 58. Windy, chillier on Friday, but with some sunshine returning in a high of 46. Mostly cloudy, 45 in Central Park, humidity 45%, winds are south at 6. Remaining the current temperature 45, headed to 56 in Midtown. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts, it's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Winds News Time, 7:34.
Rest in peace, Roberta Flack. They want to let the commercial music play there.
Top recording artist of the 1970s. And if you grew up in that decade, she was part of the soundtrack of your childhood. Yesterday, Roberta Flack lost her fight with Lou Gehrig's disease.
Roberta Flack's voice was unmistakable. Lifetime achievement.
I can't allow the music to play because I'll get a copyright strike.
That's ABC's David Muir. The number for January, $48.6 million. That's how much came in from the congestion pricing tolls in the first month. The MTA holding their Finance Committee meeting yesterday, and as the legal battle over the tolls rages on, Finance Committee Chair Neil Zuckerman says the congestion pricing tolls are a necessary component to the MTA's success.
Trump administration attacking what is a brilliant and necessary new revenue stream for the MTA, for the region, and the success after only a few weeks of what we need.
Also at that meeting, the MTA says that major crime in the subways has dropped nearly 23% over the last month, and vehicle collisions at the MTA bridges and tunnels are down by over 11%. Just a moment on the Daily Show last night with Jon Stewart. John delivering his monologue when he smashed a mug while talking about prescription drug prices, and he cut his hand.
It's fine.
And then John predicting his immediate future.
I'll be going to the hospital soon.
No word on if Stewart did go to the hospital. It's not the first time John was injured on the set. He once cut his wrist in 2011 when he was doing a segment about Anthony Weiner. Othello starts its preview shows on Broadway last night. You got some pretty big film actors starring in this one. 1010 Winds Entertainment's coming up next.
Got the 748 going to Willowbrook Mall from Patterson there on the left.
Some painting done at my house, and Pete from CertaPro Painters has been an absolute pleasure to work with. He asks questions that we haven't even thought of and really guide.
As we listen to a commercial, I wanted to thank all of the viewers for tuning in and checking out these videos. I understand they're not the most entertaining videos on YouTube, but I do feel it's important to record these time capsules for future generations.
I know about
A digital video time capsule. How's that?
100 years ago.
You remember that, but not our anniversary.
Of course I remember.
Oh yeah, when is it?
I watch YouTube. I watch the like a lot of old shows, and I love when they kept the commercials in. A lot of the vintage commercials brings back a lot of memories. Hey, who knows? Maybe somebody will watch these videos 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now and say, wow, I remember those commercials.
The whole process easy on her.
I mean, granted, the commercials from back then were a lot better. They were like little Broadway plays with the songs and the choreography.
How could I forget?
For the support and guidance you need, call MJHS Health System today at 855-202-3502 or visit us at mjhs.org. MJHS, leading the way to great care.
Well, big night on Broadway last night. Othello raised the curtain on their first previews at the Barrymore Theater. If you get in to see it early enough, you'll get to see a couple of guys you may have heard of before. as this Shakespearean tragedy stars Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal.
This is where we started. I started in the theater right up the block. This is what I love the most.
This is an experience that I could probably do for the rest of my career, 8 nights a week, and I still wouldn't be able to dig deep enough in it.
Othello officially set to open on March 23rd. Right now, they are just working out the kinks.
Entertainment on 1010 Wins is sponsored by Shulman & Hill, New York's injury lawyers.
Go to hurtny.com.
That's hurtny.com.
What if you could buy a new car on Amazon, just like you buy everything else? Well, now you can. Introducing Amazon Autos. We make it easy to browse local Hyundai listings, apply for financing, and estimate your trade-in, all with transparent pricing. Then test drive and pick up your new car at your local Hyundai dealership. Amazon Autos. Car buying has never been easier. Visit amazon.com/autosradioNYC to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry,
Ladies and gentlemen, the city never sleeps, and neither do we. All News 92.3 FM. We're always here when you need us.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We're at 43 degrees already. We've got cloudy skies at 7:40 on this Tuesday, February 25th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. It is open. It's open. The Hoboken Path Station back in business this morning after it was shut down for repairs for the last 25 days. An 18-year-old boy is killed in the Soundview section of the Bronx when a motorized bike he was riding on with a 14-year-old girl crashes into a minivan. Mayor Adams holding court with reporters yesterday. He's baffled by people calling for his removal. French President Macron in D.C. yesterday to talk to President Trump about the Russia-Ukraine war. The two at odds over who's the main aggressor in that battle. One TikToker going viral with her surefire way to know if the man she's meeting for a first date is indeed married. Ladies, you're going to want to stick around to hear this one. Checking sports, the Nets lose. Yanks and Mets dealing with some spring training injuries. Mark Renee's got the latest. AccuWeather mostly cloudy, mild, high around 56 degrees today. Winds News Time, 7:41. Traffic and transit, we get you right back out to Sue Allard.
We are jammed in New Jersey, southbound 17, just south of Summit Avenue in Hackensack with a collision taking out the left lane, and then you have another accident eastbound on the Turnpike Newark Bay Extension, just east of Interchange 14, and we're completely shut down both ways on Route 202, south of Corey Avenue in Morristown with a water main break, and all lanes are closed. You want to stick with 287, that's your alternate. Let's go to Staten Island. The eastbound expressway stop and go delays from Bradley Avenue to Highland Boulevard with an accident in the left lane. And in the Bronx, the westbound Cross Bronx slows down just past the Deegan. The center lane is down with a broken down truck. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. That's causing a little bit of slowdown getting to the outbound George. Inbound 40 to 45 to both levels, 30 inbound at the Lincoln and 40 at the Holland Tunnel. But good news heading into Queens. We had a crash at the Whitestone Bridge. That has been cleared. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Westbound LIE slows down by Robbins Lane. Westbound Northern is by the Wantagh. Then both are jammed heading into your Queens line. And the Southern West slows down by the Meadowbrook. I'm Sue Allard. Next report at 7:51. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, that was quick. Seemed like it for me anyway. It's been down for 25 days. Today, the Hoboken Path Station is back open for business.
Yeah, 25 days must be record time for transit repairs, but PATH is crucial to the transit system, so this is perfect timing. It's one of the only lines that runs 24/7, carrying about 20,000 daily riders. So those 25 days must have felt really long to folks that had to take alternatives to get around. Now, the Port Authority says this shutdown was all a part of the 2-year PATH program, and brace yourself for the cost. It was about $430 million, but it went towards major repairs like track repairs, fixing 16-year-olds' cars, and replacing damaged systems from Superstorm Sandy. But all in all, I bet folks can't wait to hear this on their way to work again. Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at the Hoboken Path Station.
Wins News Time 7:43. Tragedy in the Bronx last night. An 18-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl riding together on a motorized bike when they collided with a minivan on East 172nd Street and Metcalf Avenue. Both of the teens were thrown from that bike. The boy died at the hospital. The young girl, police say, is in stable condition. The 42-year-old male driver of the Honda Odyssey stayed at the scene. There were no arrests. The 18-year-old's name has not yet been released. 5 teenagers have now been charged with felony weapon possession after a Bronx woman was grazed by a bullet while she was sleeping in her bed Sunday night. Now, police say the shot came from an apartment directly above hers on Purdy Avenue in Parkchester. The 55-year-old victim was asleep in her apartment just before midnight on Sunday. A bullet came through the ceiling above and caught her on the forehead. She lives in the apartment with her daughter, Natalie, who spoke to our Mac Rosenberg.
It was just a really big gunshot sound, and I rushed over to her, and we were just shocked, very shocked, and I called 911. There was a bunch of blood everywhere, and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, 3 19-year-olds have all been busted. Kieran Valerio, Desmond Frazier, and Taekwon Williams. 2 17-year-olds, and police say a 6th teenager is expected to be charged as well. Well, to say there's a lot going on with Mayor Adams over the last few weeks really would be an understatement. Reporters finally had a chance to speak to the mayor yesterday, and, well, I got to tell you, he was as confident as ever.
Did the mayor ever worry that the governor would remove him, and is he worried now about potential checks on his power? His answer to my questions, no and no. But Adams did not hold back on those who called for his removal.
If you can bypass the will of the people based on what people don't like of an action, that's not democracy.
He admits there have been difficulties doing the job while under federal indictment.
Not being able to coordinate with my federal partners and have the security clearance for sensitive information impacts.
Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And the mayor also talked about his great relationship with the governor and said he's not worried about being removed from office because he knows he did nothing wrong. And if the governor decides to run for office again in 2026, she is going to need a new running mate. Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado says he will not be doing that again. Delgado announcing yesterday he's not going to be running with Governor Hochul next year. Could he be looking to run for governor himself? He says all options are on the table, and he will be exploring those options. President Trump welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron to the White House for a frank discussion on how the U.S., France, and other world leaders could bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end. It appeared that President Trump and Mr. Macron are on different sides concerning Russia's role in that war.
You had Macron saying that Russia is the clear aggressor in this situation. We've also heard from President Trump that what he would like to do is get a ceasefire as quickly as possible, whereas Macron would like to have first a peace deal and then move in with support from European countries to help secure Ukraine from Russia.
That's correspondent Zach Hudak. This morning, Poland deployed military aviation in its airspace in response to Russian missile strikes in western Ukraine and flew on that mission for about 4 hours, then determining Polish airspace wasn't violated. Yesterday marked the 3rd anniversary of the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. Wins News Time, 7:47. Elon Musk ordered federal employees who have been working from home to report to the office this week. Mr. Musk also demanding 5 examples of what they accomplished last week. Last week, I couldn't tell you what I accomplished yesterday. I remember I anchored the news for a couple hours, had dinner around 1 p.m., and then it's all very foggy. Anyway, the Office of Personnel Management told employees yesterday that responding to the email was voluntary. But that's not the way Elon sees it.
OPM said, this is actually voluntary. You don't have to respond to it if you don't want to. And if you don't respond to it, it doesn't mean that you are fired. This is a voluntary response. That was the end of the day Monday. Later Monday night, Elon Musk, who runs Doge, tweeted that employees will be given another chance to email OPM listing what they did over the last week, and that failure to respond a second time would result in termination.
That's correspondent Kristen Brown. All right, got some good news, really good news. NASA now says that the asteroid they discovered 2 months ago not going to threaten us here on Earth.
Derek Pitts, chief astronomer at the Franklin Institute, says asteroid 2024 YR4 is up to 300 feet wide.
Comes around this section of the solar system every few years or so.
After more calculations, NASA says the chances of it smashing into our planet in 2032 have fallen from 3% to nearly zero. Still, astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says we need to come up with a plan for future threats.
I don't want to be the laughing stock of the galaxy as being the only intelligent species with a space program that did not prevent its own extinction.
That's Michael Wallace reporting in the words of our own Glenn Schuck. Yippee-yi-yay.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Time Capsule, Video Time Capsule. We'll see you on the next episode.